Foreign Trade University, FTU, established in 1960, has its main campus located in Hanoi, capital, and two other campuses located in Ho Chi Minh City and Quang Province. The university has conducted education and research in a wide range of areas, including economics, business, management, finance banking, accounting auditing, law, and business languages, with 32 different undergraduate programs, 9 master programs, 2 doctoral programs, in-service programs, distant learning programs, and international joint programs with prestigious partners. After more than 60 years of establishment and development, with the educational philosophy towards promoting liberalization, practicality, nurturing integrity, accountability, and innovation competence of learners, FTU is proud of 5 outstanding strengths, including innovation, initiatives, internationalization, inspiration, inclusion, and diversity, which has made FTU the most wanted university where learners dream to get admission and employers seek for the best students and graduates in Vietnam. With the motto "the best first" and taking innovation as the driving force for development, Foreign Trade University has determined to provide the best education to new generations of students, the nucleus of innovation with innovation spirit, know-how, and willingness to innovate so that the spirit and ability of innovation could be spread to the community and society. At the beginning of 2021, Foreign Trade University was honored by the National Steering Committee for Innovation and Startup as a pioneer university in building an innovation ecosystem in Vietnam. FTU Innovation and Incubation Space has become a prestigious innovation and startup center, having connection with many domestic and international universities, organizations, businesses, and experts. At the same time, student startup activities, startup competitions are important components in the innovation ecosystem in particular, and education ecosystem in general. Many competitions on innovation and startup have gone beyond the university's scope and have become a prestigious playground for students across the country. Constantly striving to create a modern, dynamic, and creative educational environment, Foreign Trade University has been pioneer in many initiatives to become common home of diversities, nurturing and promoting all potentials of students and lecturers in their journey to Great Ocean. FTU is the first university in Vietnam to design and develop academic programs on the principle of fundamental, open, and flexible. In parallel with standard programs, are unique training programs designed on the model advanced programs, high-quality programs, international profession-oriented programs, etc., ensuring international learning outcomes and English as language of instruction. The admission scale of these programs currently accounts for more than 40% of the total admission quota, 35% of the total number of students of the university. Foreign Trade University is also a pioneer in establishing and building a new higher education model, specifically the model of partnership of Asian management schools towards building a virtual university on the basis of modern technology, with the participation of 5 universities from Korea, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, of which Foreign Trade University is a founding member. Currently, the university has a partner network of almost 200 universities and educational institutions from more than 30 countries around the globe, creating more than 20 joint training programs at bachelor and master levels with prestigious partner universities in the world. Student exchange programs have created a multicultural, highly internationalized environment at FTU. With the joining hands of foreign universities, domestic and international organizations and enterprises, Foreign Trade University has conducted knowledge transfer and developed many typical models in higher education. Internationalization in higher education is identified as a key towards sustainable education, in which Vietnamese degrees and credits are recognized worldwide and Vietnamese universities become destination for international students. In 2017, Foreign Trade University took the initiative and chaired the annual forum on internationalization of higher education to facilitate connections among universities and domestic and international educational institutions, creates an ecosystem for higher education development cooperation towards the future of world higher education. Over the years, science and technology activities have increased in quantity, diversity, and variety of forms, which has the university's quality gradually approach international standards. The number of national and international publications has increased rapidly. Foreign Trade University has actively connected and cooperated with many reputable scientists domestically and internationally, and mobilized external resources for science and technology development. Science and technology has actively supported training, promoted knowledge transfer to localities, businesses and communities, contributing to developing the prestige and branding of Foreign Trade University. Pioneering in educating global citizens with competitive ability, critical thinking, competent skills and adaptability, Foreign Trade University is proud to have the highest employment rate of graduates in Vietnam. Many students have won high prizes at national, regional and international knowledge and talent competitions. The dynamic, friendly environment as well as the support and companionship of organizations, businesses, experts, alumni, and successful people in different fields have greatly inspired many student generations of the university to overcome difficulties and challenges, to promote the spirit and resilience of FTUer in developing themselves, spreading good and positive values to the community and society. Nearly 70 student clubs are actively running at FTU main campus and other two campuses, which is an important part creating the overall educational environment and ecosystem. When starting the journey of being students at Foreign Trade University, no matter where they come from and the ambition they may hold, young people at the age of 18 are very eager to continue writing their colorful youth stories under their school, from the training program to the teachers, friends, extracurricular activities, professional competitions, all who create opportunities for students to be themselves, to exert own efforts, to try, to stumble, and get up to start again. The diversity in approaches and opening environment have created confidence, openness, acceptance, and harmonization of differences, aiming toward mutual respect and cooperation to progress together. In that journey, lecturers, staff, and partners, including domestic and international organizations, businesses, experts, especially FTU alumni, are always devoted companion to creating a journey with diversities, an outstanding dynamic environment, the companionship, closeness, and friendliness of seniors, lecturers, businesses like the brothers and sisters of a big family. And by the time of graduation, new bachelors, masters, and doctors of philosophy are equipped with not only knowledge, skills, but also creativity and high adaptability to global environment. They are surely able to confidently seek success and happiness for themselves and the surrounding community with the spirit and resilience of FTUer. Together with a warm heart that is always towards our common home, Foreign Trade University. From this school, many generations of FTUers have brought their knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm in contributing to the development of the country, expanding the relationship and proudly bringing Vietnam to the world. But perhaps, what generations of teachers and students are most proud of is the motto, FTU is home, we are a family. We are always together, unite and share. Always try our best to spread the spirit of innovation to serve the community, contributing to the sustainable development of society and the country for an innovative, prosperous, and mighty Vietnam. Foreign Trade University, FTU, established in 1960, has its main campus located in Hanoi, capital, and two other campuses located in Ho Chi Minh City and Quang Linh Province. The university has conducted education and research in a wide range of areas, including economics, business, management, finance banking, accounting auditing, law, and business languages, with 32 different undergraduate programs, 9 master programs, 2 doctoral programs, in-service programs, distant learning programs, and international joint programs with prestigious partners. After more than 60 years of establishment and development with the educational philosophy towards promoting liberalization, practicality, nurturing integrity, accountability, and innovation competence of learners, FTU is proud of 5 outstanding strengths including innovation, initiatives, internalization, inspiration, inclusion, and diversity, which has made FTU the most wanted university where learners dream to get admission and employers seek for the best students and graduates in Vietnam. With the motto, the best first, and taking innovation as the driving force for development, Foreign Trade University has determined to provide the best education to new generations of students, the nucleus of innovation with innovation spirit, know-how, and willingness to innovate so that the spirit and ability of innovation could be spread to the community and society. At the beginning of 2021, Foreign Trade University was honored by the National Steering Committee for Innovation and Startup as a pioneer university in building an innovation ecosystem in Vietnam. FTU Innovation and Incubation Space has become a prestigious innovation and Startup Center, having connection with many domestic and international universities, organizations, businesses, and experts. At the same time, student startup activities, startup competitions are important components in the innovation ecosystem in particular, and education ecosystem in general. Many competitions on innovation and startup have gone beyond the university's scope and have become a prestigious playground for students across the country. Constantly striving to create a modern, dynamic, and creative educational environment, Foreign University has been pioneer in many initiatives to become common home of diversities, nurturing and promoting all potentials of students and lecturers in their journey to Great Ocean. FTU is the first university in Vietnam to design and develop academic programs on the principle of fundamental, open, and flexible. In parallel with standard programs, are unique training programs designed on the model advanced programs, high-quality programs, international profession-oriented programs, etc., ensuring international learning outcomes and English as language of instruction. The admission scale of these programs currently accounts for more than 40% of the total admission quota, 35% of the total number of students of the university. Foreign University is also a pioneer in establishing and building a new higher education model, specifically the model of partnership of Asian management schools towards building a virtual university on the basis of modern technology, with the participation of 5 universities from Korea, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, of which Foreign University is a founding member. Currently, the university has a partner network of almost 200 universities and educational institutions from more than 30 countries around the globe, creating more than 20 joint training programs at bachelor and master levels with prestigious partner universities in the world. Student exchange programs have created a multicultural, highly internationalized environment at FTU. The joining hands of foreign universities, domestic and international organizations and enterprises, Foreign University has conducted knowledge transfer and developed many typical models in higher education. Internationalization in higher education is identified as a key towards sustainable education, in which Vietnamese degrees and credits are recognized worldwide and Vietnamese universities become destination for international students. In 2017, Foreign University took the initiative and chaired the annual forum on internationalization of higher education to facilitate connections among universities and domestic and international educational institutions, creates an ecosystem for higher education development cooperation towards the future of world higher education. Over the years, science and technology activities have increased in quantity, diversity, and variety of forms, which has the university's quality gradually approach international standards. The number of national and international publications has increased rapidly. Foreign University has actively connected and cooperated with many reputable scientists domestically and internationally, and mobilized external resources for science and technology development. Science and technology has actively supported training, promoted knowledge transfer to localities, businesses, and communities, contributing to developing the prestige and branding of Foreign University. Pioneering in educating global citizens with competitive ability, critical thinking, competent skills, and adaptability, Foreign University is proud to have the highest employment rate of graduates in Vietnam. Many students have won high prizes at national, regional, and international knowledge and talent competitions. The dynamic, friendly environment, as well as the support and companionship of organizations, businesses, experts, alumni, and successful people in different fields have greatly inspired many student generations of the university to overcome difficulties and challenges, to promote the spirit and resilience of FTUer in developing themselves, spreading good and positive values to the community and society. Nearly 70 student clubs are actively running at FTU main campus and other 2 campuses, which is an important part creating the overall educational environment and ecosystem. When starting the journey of being students at Foreign University, no matter where they come from and the ambition they may hold, young people at the age of 18 are very eager to continue writing their colorful youth stories under their school, from the training program to the teachers, friends, extracurricular activities, professional competitions, all who create opportunities for students to be themselves, to exert own efforts, to try, to stumble, and get up to start again. The diversity in approaches and opening environment have created confidence, openness, acceptance, and harmonization of differences, aiming toward mutual respect and cooperation to progress together. In that journey, lecturers, staff, and partners, including domestic and international organizations, businesses, experts, especially FTU alumni, are always devoted companion to creating a journey with diversities, an outstanding dynamic environment, the companionship, closeness, and friendliness of seniors, lecturers, businesses like the brothers and sisters of a big family. And by the time of graduation, new bachelors, masters, and doctors of philosophy are equipped with not only knowledge, skills, but also creativity and high adaptability to global environment. They are surely able to confidently seek success and happiness for themselves and the surrounding community with the spirit and resilience of FTUer. Together with a warm heart that is always towards our common home, Foreign University. From this school, many generations of FTUers have brought their knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm in contributing to the development of the country, expanding the relationship and proudly bringing Vietnam to the world. But perhaps what generations of teachers and students are most proud of is the motto, FTU is home, we are a family. We are always together, unite and share. Always try our best to spread the spirit of innovation to serve the community, contributing to the sustainable development of society and the country for an innovative, prosperous, and mighty Vietnam.
warmly welcome to FTU WTO Chair launch ceremony today. My name is Ngan, and it is my honor to accompany you in this important event. WTO Chair's program is a world-renowned program which launched in 2010 with the aim to promote trade-related academic activities, encouraging knowledge and understanding of the trade system of scholars, experts, policymakers in developing countries, universities, and academic institutions working third phase of this WTO Chairs program, Foreign Trade University is very honored and proud to be selected as one of the 17 educational institutions out of 126 institutions coming from 54 countries all over the world. And FTU remains the only Vietnamese educational institution to be selected in the third phase of the WTO Chairs program. And today, we are organizing this launch ceremony in order to mark the beginning of the 4-year program at Foreign Trade University. Joining with us today, we are very delighted to welcome our distinguished guests attending both offline at Foreign Trade University Hanoi campus and online via the Zoom platform. It is my pleasure to introduce you our honored guests. From governmental agency and ministry, allow me to introduce Dr. Nguyễn Hoàng Giang, Deputy Minister. Allow me to introduce Associate Professor Phạm Văn Linh, Vice President and Secretary. Let's welcome Mr. Thái, Director General, Second Secretary, Deputy Director of Hanoi Center for Russian Science and Culture, Embassy of the Russian Federation in Vietnam. Please welcome Mr. Mahesh Prematilak, First Secretary, Embassy of Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka in Vietnam. And please welcome Mr. Osama Waragwit, Second Secretary, Embassy of the State of Palestine. Please welcome Ms. Nguyễn Thị Hương Giang, Economic Expert, Embassy of the Republic of Poland in Vietnam. And from international organization, we have the honor to welcome Ms. Annabelle Gonzalez, Deputy Director General, World Trade Organization. Allow me to introduce Mr. Vanes Udo, Director of the WTO Chess Program. Allow me to introduce Her Excellency Dr. Lê Thị Mai, Ambassador of Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Permanent Representative of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam to the United Nations, the World Trade Organization and other international organizations in Geneva, Switzerland. Allow me to introduce His Excellency Etienne Udo de Danville, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of France to the WTO in Geneva. His representative will be represented by Mrs. Othan Nestle. Allow me to introduce Mr. Mason Interlandi, Second Secretary, Permanent Mission of Australia to the WTO. Please welcome Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch, Member of the Advisory Board of the WTO Chairs Program, Director of Studies of the World Trade Institute, University of Bern, Switzerland. Please welcome Professor Michael A. Wing Cho, WTO Chairholder in Singapore, from the National University of Singapore. Please welcome Professor Lei Zhang, WTO Chairholder in China from the Shanghai University of International Business and Economics. Please welcome Professor Xing Guandu, WTO Chairholder in China from the University of International Business and Economics located in Beijing, China. Please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Martin Smith, Senior Advisor to FTU WTO Chair Program. Allow me to introduce Mr. Dương Thị Dũng, Ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, former Ambassador to France and Permanent Representative to the UN, WTO, and other international organizations in Geneva. Please welcome Mr. Nguyễn Đức Minh, Deputy Chief of Mission, Minister Counselor, Embassy of Vietnam in Japan. Please welcome Mr. Nguyễn Cảnh Cường, Commercial Counselor, Vietnam Trade Office in England. And please welcome Mr. Bùi Vương Anh, Commercial Counselor, Vietnam Trade Office in Germany. Please welcome Mr. Florian Baranek, Lead Expert Responsible Business Development, UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Please welcome Mr. Ngô Quang Vinh, Social Sector Official, Vietnam Resident, ASEAN Development Bank. And we have the honor to welcome our distinguished guests from our domestic partner. Allow me to introduce Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang, Director of the Center for WTO and International Trade, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Allow me to introduce Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam, Deputy Secretary General of the Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers of Vietnam, VASEP. Allow me to introduce our distinguished guests coming from domestic, university, and foreign university as well. From foreign university, allow me to introduce Professor Colin Picker from Wollongong University, Australia. Allow me to introduce Professor Manfred Alsik, Deputy Managing Director, World Trade Institute, University of Bern, Switzerland. Allow me to introduce Professor Antonin Ricard, Dean, Graduate School of Management, Aix-Marseille University. Allow me to introduce Dr. David Clavas, Acting Dean, Business School, Lausanne. Allow me to introduce Dr. Anne Maria Aho, Dean, Head of Master Degree Program, University of Applied Science, Signal Jockey. For
Recording in
university
progress.
located within Vietnam, allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Hồng Trương, President, National Economics University. Allow me to introduce Professor Dr. Trịnh Minh Thu, President, Thủy Lợi University. Please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Đinh Văn Châu, President, Electric Power University. Please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Ngọc Anh, President, Hanoi University of Finance Banking. Allow me to introduce Dr. Nguyễn Trọng Nghĩa, President, University of Finance Business Administration. Allow me to introduce Mr. Trần Đức Minh, Deputy President, Hanoi University of Business and Technology. Allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Nguyễn Thành Trương, Vice President, University of Transport and Communication. And representing Foreign Trade University, may I have the honor to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Anh Tuấn, President of Foreign Trade University. Please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Lê Thị Thu Thủy, Chairwoman, University Council, Foreign Trade University, who is joining us online. Allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, Vice President of Foreign Trade University. And please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Đào Ngọc Tiến, Vice President, Foreign Trade University. In addition, we have the honor to welcome representatives from ministries, governmental agency, embassy, international organization, and university. And today, we also have the honor to welcome deans of faculties, managers of departments, hundreds of FTU lecturers, staff, and students attending our ceremony today. We are very grateful for your participation to the FTU WTO Chair launch ceremony, both offline at the Foreign Trade University campus and online
Recording
via the Zoom
stopped.
platform. And now, without further
Recording
ado,
in progress.
I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Anh Tuấn, President of Foreign Trade University, to declare the opening of our ceremony. Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Anh Tuấn, please be welcome on the stage.
Dear Dr. Nguyễn Hoàng Giang, Deputy Minister of Science and Technology. Dear Mr. Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc, Deputy Minister of Justice. Dear Ms. Anibal Gonzalez, Deputy Director General, World Trade Organization. Dear distinguished guests from government organizations, ministries, embassy, WTO members, international and national association, organization, university. Dear FTU members, first, on behalf of Foreign Trade University, I would like to send a warmest welcome to all lecturers, officials, staff, and students who are attending the FTU WTO Chair launch ceremony offline at the home and online via Zoom platform. Ladies and gentlemen, the WTO Chair program was launched in 2010 by the Secretariat of the World Trade Organization, with the aim of improving knowledge and understanding of the World Trade system among experts, scholars, and policymakers in developing countries. Up to now, the program has gone through 3 phases with the 5 main consistent goals. The first, promote research activity in the field related to international trade. Second, develops and implement the courses on international trade and support the training institution in the teaching process. The third, encourage communication activity and spread to the community. The fourth, college information and promoting knowledge sharing on international trade. And the fifth, establish close network among academics. According to the announcement on November 15, 2021, the World Trade Organization, after a rigorous evaluation process, Foreign Trade University has officially become one of the 17 educational institutions recognized by the World Trade Organization, selected from 166 educational institutions in 54 countries around the world. The becoming the only Vietnamese educational institution selected to participate in the WTO Chair Program Phase 3 from 2022 to 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, with the desire to address the huge gap between the implementation of the government commitment from a policy perspective and the role of the stakeholders in practice, thereby promoting solutions to connect stakeholders in the implementation of the Vietnam commitment in the WTO and new FTA generation. The WTO Chair Program at Foreign Trade University identified the common goal of the program as strengthening cooperation among industry actors, academic organizations, and the government in the implementation of Vietnam commitment in the WTO and the new FTA generation. To achieve that goal, Foreign Trade University intends to carry out many activities around the three main pillars of the program: research activity, training program, development activity, and achieve activity with the direct support from the World Trade Organization and the cooperation of partners representing stakeholders such as Ministry of Industry and Trade, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education and Training, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, VCCI, Businesses and Industry Association. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Foreign Trade University, I would like to warmly welcome your participation in the FTU WTO Chair Program in general, and the ceremony of the program today in particular. Through today's ceremony, Foreign Trade University hopes and believes that, together, we will successfully build a foundation of extensive cooperation among the business community, industry association, and research organization, and among policymakers in the field of the international trade to better meet the requirements of the country development practice in the next period. With that spirit, I solemnly announce the launch of the FTU WTO Chair Program's launch ceremony. We wish our valued guests good health, happiness, and success. May our ceremony be successful. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Anh Tuấn, for your very informative and enthusiastic opening remarks. And this marks the beginning of the FTU WTO Chair Program at Foreign Trade University, which will run from 2022 to 2026. But before we move on, may I direct your attention to the following video clip that we have prepared to introduce to you about the general overview of our program, about the purpose, objective, and content under the three pillars of research, curriculum development and teaching, and outreach events activities. And please enjoy watching.
The WTO Chairs Program, WCP, aims to enhance knowledge and promote trade-related academic activities through curriculum development, research and outreach activities by universities and research institutions in developing and least developed countries. Following a call for applications for Phase 3 of the program issued on 18 December 2020, 126 applications from academic institutions in 54 members around the world were received by the WTO. A highly competitive and thorough selection process was conducted given the large number of excellent applications, resulting in 17 institutions chosen to join the network of WCP chairs. This further diversifies the program's representation across the globe, with a network now comprising 36 universities. Foreign Trade University, FDU, is very honored to be the only Vietnamese academic institution chosen as one of the 17 new chairs of the WCP Phase 3. While we have every reason to be proud of our success, we all know that as a new chair, intense work lies ahead in the next years. The primary objective of WCP FDU project is strengthening the collaboration among industry, academia, and the government in implementing Vietnam's commitment in WTO and new FTAs. To achieve this objective, the WCP FDU project will carry out numerous activities and initiatives under 3 pillars. Firstly, the research pillar aims at conducting a series of 6 sets of research to evaluate impacts of commitments, highlight the role of different stakeholders, and propose solutions for connecting these stakeholders in Vietnam's implementation of WTO and FTA's commitments. Secondly, the curriculum development and teaching pillar is expected to execute 9 activities as follows: designing and implementing 3 short courses, designing and implementing 3 academic courses, and updating and implementing 3 curricula. Thirdly, the outreach and events pillar is aimed at disseminating research and information, as well as promoting discussions regarding international trade and international collaboration through various initiatives such as 11 consultation and academic workshops, a Vietnam WTO Chairs Program website, Vietnam Forum on International Trade, Vietnam International Trade Mood Competition for students of nationwide universities. In order to execute this project, FDU's approach integrates 5 comprehensive solutions: raising understanding of international trade, capacity building of related parties, promoting effective implementation of international trade, collaborating with different stakeholders, and influencing the policy-making process to successfully apply international commitments. Established in 1960, FDU started as a single-disciplinary university specializing in international business economics, and this is the university's traditional and famous forte. Over the last 5 years, FDU has successfully conducted a great number of projects funded by international organizations from all over the world, from Switzerland, Japan, France, and Belgium. FDU is committed to research, discovery, creativity, and rigorous intellectual exchange. We consider the diversification of excellence across all of our disciplinary areas a priority. We aim at achieving international recognition in a wide range of disciplines and to be a center of excellence in education with strong linkages between theory and practice and between policy and business decisions. With the motto, "The best first," FDU provides a unique educational experience in an environment that prepares students not only for the challenges of today, but for a world that has yet to be imagined. For the past 62 years, FDU has enlisted talented scholars from all over Vietnam to teach, study, and innovate. FDU very often welcomes the best and brightest students from around the country into our classrooms. FDU has been expanding its network of foreign universities partners to conduct various joint programs, including exchange of students and staff, joint educational programs, joint research, and other activities. By 2020, the number of international partners of FDU has increased to 185 universities across 30 countries worldwide. Particularly in this WCP project, There were 6 partners who initially signed the letter of intent with FDU. With in-depth experience in international trade, together with an excellent team of experts, a wide network of connections, and good conditions for teaching and research, FDU strongly believes the WCP FDU project will be a new milestone that marks Vietnam's greater participation in international trade.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that the video clip provides you a deeper understanding of our program under 3 pillars: research, curriculum development and teaching, and outreach events and activities, with the general aim to strengthen the collaboration among different stakeholders, including academia, government, and universities. Foreign Trade University aims to bring lots of expected values to our stakeholders and the community of Vietnam as a whole. And in the implementation of such activities, may I introduce to you a very important person who is the project director of this program and who is also the WTO chairholder at FTU. Allow me to introduce and please join me to welcome her on the stage, Associate Professor Dr. Trịnh Thị Thu Hương, WTO chairholder at Foreign Trade University. Associate Professor Dr. Trịnh Thị Thu Hương, please be welcome on the stage. And Professor Trịnh Thị Thu Hương will also be the moderator for the next part, where we'll be hearing inaugural remarks from our representative.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as the shareholders of WTO Chair Program, it is my great pleasure to welcome you and thank you for joining us in our very important event today. As you may already know, the objective of the WTO Chair Program is to enhance knowledge and understanding of the trading system among academics and citizens, but also policymakers in developing countries, by stimulating teaching, research, and public debate on international trade and trade cooperation at the levels of tertiary education and research institutions. In fact, I am very pleased to announce that Foreign Trade University has officially selected to participate in the WTO Chair Program in the third phase from 2022 to 2026. So I am extremely honored and pleased to have our delegate attending our ceremony. Without any further ado, now I would like to invite Mr. Nguyễn Hoàng Giang, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Science and Technology, to declare the inaugural remark. So please welcome Deputy Minister Nguyễn Hoàng Giang on the stage.
Kính thưa bà Alebo Gonzalez, Phó Tổng Giám đốc WTO, kính thưa ngài Waterzo, Giám đốc chương trình WTO Chair của WTO, kính thưa Phó giáo sư tiến sĩ Bùi Anh Tuấn, Hiệu trưởng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Hà Nội, kính thưa các vị đại biểu khách quý. Tham dự chương trình WTO Chair Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Hà Nội hôm nay, thay mặt lãnh đạo Bộ Khoa học Công nghệ, tôi xin gửi tới các vị đại biểu khách quý lời chúc sức khỏe hạnh phúc và xin chúc mừng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương đã trở thành trường đại học duy nhất của Việt Nam nằm trong số 17 cái trường đại học cơ sở nghiên cứu được lựa chọn từ 126 ứng cử viên của 54 quốc gia được tham gia chương trình WTO Chair giai đoạn 3 2022-2025. Kính thưa các quý vị đại biểu tham dự lễ khởi động hôm nay, cá nhân tôi bên cạnh vai trò là đại diện của Bộ Khoa học và Công nghệ Việt Nam, tôi còn tham gia với tư cách là cựu sinh viên khóa 27 năm học 1988-1993 của trường và đồng thời là thành viên hội đồng trường của Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Hà Nội. Trong chiến lược phát triển trường giai đoạn 21-30 và tầm nhìn 2040, một trong những nội dung quan trọng mà Hội đồng trường đã thảo luận và thông qua về mục tiêu chiến lược của trường là trở thành trường đại học dẫn đầu cả nước về đào tạo kinh tế, kinh doanh, hệ sinh thái khởi nghiệp, sáng tạo, cung cấp các sản phẩm xuất sắc trong đào tạo, nghiên cứu khoa học và phục vụ cộng đồng, có vị thế cao trong khu vực châu Á. Vì vậy, tôi cho rằng việc Trường Đại học Ngoại thương được lựa chọn để triển khai các hoạt động trong khuôn khổ của chương trình WTO Share giai đoạn 3 là một trong những điểm khởi đầu có ý nghĩa cho quá trình thực hiện mục tiêu phát triển chiến lược của nhà trường trong giai đoạn tới. Với những giá trị mà chương trình WTO Share của Trường Đại học Ngoại thương mang lại, cụ thể là nâng cao năng lực cho khu vực công, đặc biệt là các cơ quan chức năng, chính quyền địa phương, cho các tổ chức, doanh nghiệp, cũng như tăng cường kết nối giữa các chủ thể nhằm thực hiện đúng và hiệu quả cam kết của Việt Nam trong WTO và các FTA thông qua các hoạt động nghiên cứu, đào tạo và lan tỏa cộng đồng. Tôi tin tưởng rằng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Hà Nội sẽ đóng góp một vai trò quan trọng và trở thành cầu nối giữa ba bên, cơ quan nhà nước, trường đại học và doanh nghiệp. Qua đó, góp phần giúp Việt Nam giải quyết hiệu quả những vấn đề kinh tế, pháp lý đặt ra từ quá trình hội nhập vào hệ thống thương mại đa biên hay quá trình tự do hóa thương mại khu vực. Chúng tôi cũng tin tưởng rằng với khả năng thực thi hiệu quả chương trình WTO Share của Trường Đại học Ngoại thương, bởi lẽ Trường Đại học Ngoại thương là trường đầu tiên của Việt Nam đào tạo chuyên sâu về thương mại quốc tế và là trường đại học được đánh giá cao về khả năng kết nối, hợp tác trong nước và quốc tế, cũng như phối hợp nguồn lực bên trong và bên ngoài. Kính thưa các vị đại biểu, Bộ Khoa học Công nghệ theo chức năng, nhiệm vụ được giao là cơ quan thực hiện chức năng quản lý nhà nước về khoa học và công nghệ, đổi mới sáng tạo. Trong đó có hoạt động nghiên cứu khoa học, đổi mới sáng tạo và sở hữu trí tuệ. Chúng tôi luôn ủng hộ và sẵn sàng đồng hành cùng chương trình WTO Share của Trường Đại học Ngoại thương nói riêng và chương trình WTO Share nói chung. Một lần nữa, xin nhiệt liệt chúc mừng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương với sự kiện ý nghĩa này. Rất mong Trường Đại học Ngoại thương sẽ nỗ lực không ngừng để triển khai tốt nhất chương trình WTO Share. Sự thành công của chương trình sẽ không chỉ góp phần khẳng định tên tuổi, uy tín của nhà trường mà còn của Việt Nam với WTO và bạn bè quốc tế. Xin chân thành cảm ơn WTO đã tạo điều kiện cho nhà trường trở thành một trong những WTO Share giai đoạn 3. Cuối cùng, xin kính chúc sức khỏe các vị đại biểu, chúc chương trình của chúng ta thành công tốt đẹp. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
Thank you very much for your inaugural speech. It is a very supportive speech. And now it is time to invite Deputy Minister Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc, Ministry of Justice, to declare the inaugural remarks. And please welcome Deputy Minister Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc. The stage is yours.
Thưa bà Annabel Gonzalez, Phó Tổng Giám đốc Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới. Thưa ông Wender Zyduk, Giám đốc chương trình WTO Chair. Thưa tất cả các đồng chí lãnh đạo đại diện cho các bộ ngành Việt Nam. Thưa Phó Giáo sư Tiến sĩ Bùi Anh Tuấn, Hiệu trưởng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Việt Nam. Thưa toàn thể các quý vị đại biểu và các vị khách quý Việt Nam và quốc tế. Hôm nay tôi rất vui mừng tham dự và phát biểu tại lễ khởi động WTO Chair tại Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Việt Nam. Lời đầu tiên, thay mặt lãnh đạo Bộ Tư pháp, tôi xin gửi tới bà Annabel Gonzalez, Phó Tổng Giám đốc WTO, ông Wender Zyduk, Giám đốc chương trình WTO Chair, cùng toàn thể các quý vị đại biểu và các vị khách quý, lời chúc sức khỏe và lời chúc thành công. Tôi cũng xin được chúc mừng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Việt Nam là cơ sở đào tạo đầu tiên của Việt Nam đã vinh dự được chương trình WTO Chair lựa chọn tham gia chương trình này. Đây là niềm vinh dự và tự hào không chỉ của Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Việt Nam mà còn là của các cơ sở đào tạo nghiên cứu về thương mại quốc tế của Việt Nam. Thưa các quý vị đại biểu, kể từ khi gia nhập WTO tháng 1 năm 2007, tiến trình hội nhập kinh tế quốc tế của Việt Nam đã đạt được nhiều kết quả tích cực trong việc mở rộng quan hệ thương mại quốc tế với các nước thành viên Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới, ký kết các hiệp định thương mại tự do, trong đó có các hiệp định thương mại tự do thế hệ mới như Hiệp định Đối tác Toàn diện và Tiến bộ Xuyên Thái Bình Dương, Hiệp định Thương mại Tự do Việt Nam Liên minh châu Âu, Hiệp định Đối tác Toàn diện khu vực RCEP, v.v. Đẩy mạnh cải cách thể chế pháp luật trong nước để tạo thuận lợi hơn cho thương mại quốc tế. Và có lẽ đây cũng là một lý do tại sao Trường Đại học Ngoại thương mời tôi đến dự cái buổi lễ hôm nay, bởi vì trong quá trình hội nhập quốc tế và gia nhập WTO thì một trong những cái công việc mà chính phủ Việt Nam đã phải thực hiện rất là nhiều, đó là sửa đổi, bổ sung rất nhiều các quy định pháp luật để gia nhập tổ chức này, cũng như là tạo thuận lợi hơn nữa cho thương mại quốc tế và từng bước tham gia vào quá trình đàm phán giải quyết các vấn đề phát sinh trong khuôn khổ WTO và các khuôn khổ hợp tác thương mại quốc tế khác. Có thể nói, về thương mại quốc tế thì Việt Nam là một trong những ví dụ điển hình của mở cửa tự do hóa thương mại, giúp cho đất nước phát triển kinh tế xã hội tốt hơn. Trong quá trình đó, chính phủ Việt Nam ý thức được tầm quan trọng của hệ thống thương mại toàn cầu WTO và luôn thể hiện là thành viên có trách nhiệm trong hệ thống này. Thưa toàn thể các quý vị, trước những thách thức khó khăn của thương mại quốc tế gần đây, thì một nước đang phát triển như Việt Nam chịu tác động không nhỏ, đặt ra các yêu cầu cao hơn trong việc nghiên cứu, hoạch định chính sách và đào tạo nâng cao năng lực đội ngũ cán bộ, bao gồm cả những người làm chính sách và những người thực thi chính sách thương mại quốc tế, và một sự gắn kết tốt hơn nữa giữa các cơ quan của chính phủ với các cơ sở nghiên cứu, đào tạo và với người dân và doanh nghiệp. Trong bối cảnh đó, tôi đánh giá cao những nỗ lực, cố gắng của Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Việt Nam trong việc vượt qua nhiều đối thủ cạnh tranh khác để được lựa chọn tham gia chương trình WTO Chairs. Một sự khởi đầu tốt cho một tiến trình mới phía trước. Tôi tin tưởng là Trường Đại học Ngoại thương Việt Nam sẽ khai thác tối đa các lợi thế, cơ hội được tham gia chương trình để hoàn thiện các chương trình đào tạo của mình, thúc đẩy nghiên cứu khoa học và các hoạt động thúc đẩy nâng cao hiểu biết về thương mại quốc tế. Cuối cùng, một lần nữa, cho phép tôi bày tỏ sự cảm ơn chân thành tới Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới về những nỗ lực của tổ chức này đã triển khai trong thời gian qua, trong đó có chương trình WTO Chairs để các nước như Việt Nam ngày càng được hưởng lợi nhiều từ các hoạt động hỗ trợ kỹ thuật của Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới. Tôi cũng mong WTO tiếp tục tạo điều kiện và xem xét để nhiều cơ sở đào tạo và nghiên cứu của Việt Nam có thể tham gia chương trình WTO Chairs trong thời gian tới. Xin chúc cho Trường Đại học Ngoại thương tiếp tục phát triển mạnh mẽ trong thời gian tới. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc, for your previous inaugural remark. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Mr. Lương Hoàng Thái, Director General Department of Multilateral Trade Policy, Ministry of Industry and Trade. In his role, Mr. Lương Hoàng Thái had participated in many trade negotiations of Vietnam in WTO and new generation FTA. So please welcome Mr. Lương Hoàng Thái on the stage.
Kính thưa bà Annabel Gonzalez, Phó Tổng Giám đốc Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới WTO. Kính thưa ông Wagner Zuk, Giám đốc chương trình WTO Chair của WTO. Kính thưa ông Nguyễn Hoàng Giang, Thứ trưởng Bộ Công nghệ, ông Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc, Thứ trưởng Bộ Tư pháp. Kính thưa Phó Giáo sư Tiến sĩ Trần Anh Tuấn, Hiệu trưởng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương, cùng toàn thể quý vị đại biểu tham dự buổi lễ ra mắt hôm nay. Thì trước tiên tôi xin phép được nhiệt liệt chúc mừng Trường Đại học Ngoại thương đã trở thành một trong 17 trường đại học là cơ sở nghiên cứu được lựa chọn là WTO Chair giai đoạn 3. Đây là kết quả hết sức vui mừng không chỉ cho Trường Đại học Ngoại thương mà cho cả Việt Nam, thể hiện cái khả năng, trí tuệ, vị thế và sự phát triển của Việt Nam trong khuôn khổ Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới, cũng như xứng đáng với truyền thống của nhà trường trong việc đào tạo nguồn nhân lực chất lượng cao về thương mại quốc tế. Kính thưa quý vị đại biểu, thì khi mà Việt Nam chúng ta gia nhập Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới thì khi đó nền thương mại của chúng ta còn quy mô rất là nhỏ, chỉ đạt khoảng trên 80 tỷ đô la. Và cho đến nay thì con số đó nó đã lớn hơn nhiều lần, là 7 lần so với cái con số khi chúng ta gia nhập. Và năm ngoái khi mà chính phủ được giám sát bởi Quốc hội có đánh giá lại cái quá trình hội nhập kinh tế quốc tế của Việt Nam, thì trong đó đã nhận định cái quá trình hội nhập kinh tế của Việt Nam với cái mốc quan trọng là việc gia nhập Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới WTO chính là một trong những yếu tố đã đóng góp cho những cái thành công trong phát triển kinh tế xã hội của Việt Nam, và đặc biệt là đã giúp cho rất nhiều những người Việt Nam thoát được khỏi cái cảnh nghèo đói trước đây và đưa chúng ta trở thành nước có thu nhập trung bình. Và chính vì vậy thì Việt Nam là một trong những cái nước có cái niềm tin mạnh mẽ vào cái chủ nghĩa thương mại đa phương dựa trên những cái quy tắc quốc tế được tất cả các nước tuân thủ. Và đây là cái nền tảng để chúng ta thúc đẩy cái quan hệ giữa Việt Nam nói chung với Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới. Và trong thời gian qua thì chúng ta chứng kiến một cái bối cảnh quốc tế không hoàn toàn thuận lợi, trong đó có sự gia tăng của chủ nghĩa đơn phương, rồi có cái sự gia tăng của bảo hộ mậu dịch ở một số nơi trên thế giới. Thế nhưng mà trong cái bối cảnh đó thì Việt Nam chúng ta vẫn quyết tâm tiếp tục cái tiến trình hội nhập kinh tế quốc tế, và bằng chứng là chúng ta đã tham gia nhiều những cái hiệp định thương mại tự do trong thời gian gần đây, trong đó có những cái hiệp định thương mại tự do với cái tiêu chuẩn cao nhất. Và chính cái quá trình này thì nó có đòi hỏi Việt Nam phải nhanh chóng nâng cao chất lượng nguồn nhân lực cả về chiều rộng và chiều sâu nhằm phục vụ cho quá trình hội nhập kinh tế quốc tế. Và chính vì vậy mà Bộ Công Thương hết sức hoan nghênh ý tưởng của Trường Đại học Ngoại Thương đã mạnh dạn ứng tuyển vào chương trình WTO Chair giai đoạn 3. Và việc trở thành đại diện duy nhất của Việt Nam được lựa chọn cho chương trình này thể hiện sự chuẩn bị công phu, chu đáo của nhà trường để đáp ứng những yêu cầu đòi hỏi của WTO, cũng như mở ra cánh cửa mới về cách thức mà các cơ sở giáo dục đại học, viện nghiên cứu tại Việt Nam có thể thực hiện để tận dụng tốt hơn nữa các hỗ trợ kỹ thuật và nâng cao năng lực mà WTO dành cho các thành viên đang và kém phát triển. Kính thưa quý vị, thì trong thời gian tới đây, Bộ Công Thương sẽ luôn sẵn sàng đồng hành cùng với Trường Ngoại Thương để nhà trường đạt được những cái kết quả tốt nhất khi mà tham gia vào chương trình WTO Chair. Và với cá nhân tôi thì là một người đã có 5 năm gắn bó với mái trường, và ngay sau khi tốt nghiệp thì có thể nói là cả cái cuộc đời công tác là gắn bó với WTO nói riêng và hội nhập kinh tế quốc tế nói chung. Thì tôi rất là vui mừng chứng kiến cái sự phát triển của quan hệ giữa nhà trường nói riêng cũng như Việt Nam nói chung với Tổ chức Thương mại Thế giới WTO. Và trong tâm mình thì tôi luôn mong muốn và xin chúc nhà trường đạt được nhiều thành công, và chương trình WTO Chair Program của chúng ta đạt được thành công và đạt được các kết quả hết sức thực chất và có ý nghĩa trong thời gian tới. Và xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lương Hoàng Thái, for your enthusiastic remark. And now it is my great pleasure to invite Ms. Annabel Gonzalez, WTO Deputy Director General, to declare the inaugural remark. She will be online from Geneva. So please welcome Ms. Gonzalez.
So, Excellencies, thank you very much for this kind invitation, and I am delighted to be here. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the launch of our new WTO chair at Foreign Trade University in Vietnam, which has joined the WTO Chairs program as part of the third four-year cycle of the program. Since 2021, the WTO Chairs Program has expanded to include 36 academic institutions across the globe, with greater representation across several regions, particularly least developed countries. I'm very pleased to see that Asia is now represented by new chairs in China, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, and Vietnam, in addition to the chairs in Indonesia, Singapore, Oman, and Jordan, who became part of the network during previous cycles. Today marks the official launch of the chair in Vietnam, and I warmly welcome Ms. Chinh Thi Tu as chairholder. She and her team were selected from a pool of 126 applicants through an extremely competitive process, which assessed applications based on their quality and long-term sustainability in respect of research, outreach, and curriculum development. Ms. Chin Tu joins a network where women are well represented and their valuable achievements and leadership qualities are at the forefront of each project. The addition of Vietnam to the WTO Chairs Program network is also crucial for the regional role of the network for ASEAN countries, which I encourage them to capitalize on together in order to develop this potential to its fullest. The project that will be launched by the WTO Chair at the Foreign Trade University focuses on the implementation of the bilateral and regional trade agreements which Vietnam has signed. It will evaluate the impact of these commitments, highlight the role of different stakeholders, and propose solutions for connecting them in the implementation of Vietnam's WTO and FTA commitments. Such research is timely and topical, not least because it will show the complementarities between regional trade agreements and multilateral arrangements. And I am pleased that this will be done in collaboration with enterprise associations, ministries, and business. In doing so, it will highlight the tangible ways in which trade can improve people's everyday lives and unlock opportunities that allow businesses of all sizes to expand and flourish. And that's why revitalizing trade and strengthening the rules-based trading system is more important than ever. We have an opportunity to take an important step in this direction at our upcoming ministerial conference in June, where members can deliver concrete outcomes on key trade issues, from curbing fishery subsidies to advancing agricultural trade policy reform, and from enhancing our preparedness to future pandemics to WTO reform. In addition, several groups of WTO members continue to make steady progress on issues such as services domestic regulation, investment facilitation for development, MSMEs, environmental sustainability, and plastics pollution. All of these issues are critically important to equip economies around the world to meet the challenges of and succeed in the 21st century. In order to participate fully and effectively in this work, it is crucial that members have access to better data, customized information, and relevant analysis on the issues facing those affected most directly by trade measures, which is the chief focus of the project launched here today. As a former Minister of Foreign Trade, I know that having access to such applied knowledge is critically important in helping countries pursue their trade interests and work with others meaningfully, pragmatically, and cooperatively to seize win-win trade opportunities. The Chairs Network's close collaboration with policymakers ensures that the program delivers valuable outcomes and feeds into the WTO negotiating process in tangible ways. I welcome Professor Chin Tu and her team's commitment and dedication to operationalizing this collaboration now and in the years to come. I look forward to seeing the fruits of the various partnerships which we will be formalizing today between the chair in Vietnam and the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers. Collaboration with these associations is of particular interest from a trade remedy perspective, and given the current negotiations on fisheries subsidies and our broader efforts to promote a blue economy that contributes to improving livelihoods and sustainability. I also welcome the academic collaboration which will take place with the World Trade Institute, an institution which the Foreign Trade University has partnered with in the past, and with the University of Wollongong in South Wales, Australia, which will allow the chair to enhance interaction with the Pacific region. I commend you for such cross-regional and international academic collaboration, which is at the heart of the WTO Chairs Program. All of this is possible thanks to the generous support of our donors. In particular, I welcome the support of our colleagues from the Australian and French missions who have joined us today, and sincerely thank both Australia and France for their generous support for the WTO Chairs program. I look forward to seeing the fruits of this project implemented by the Foreign Trade University and the chair in Vietnam soon, and the partnerships and collaborative efforts that result from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your inaugural remarks, Ms. Annabelle Gonzalez. To organize this important event, we appreciate very much the help and guidelines from WCP team. Now I would like to invite Mr. Werner Zudert to declare his speech from Geneva. So please welcome him.
I lost the traction. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, so please. We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Should I start? Yes?
Yes, so please your part to give the inaugural remarks, please.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here as the director of the division that is entrusted with running the chairs program. Distinguished ministers, I thank DDG Gonzalez, advisory board members, our chairs and colleagues. It's a great pleasure to address you today. I'm pleased to welcome one of the most prestigious universities of Vietnam, the Foreign Trade University, as a new participant to the WTO Chairs program, and especially Professor Chin Tu Thi. Along with other universities, FTU forms a network of 36 chairs around the globe. With access to such a wide range of academics dealing with trade policy analysis, I believe FTU will be able to make very well-informed and diverse contributions to national policymakers and the WTO through the three pillars of the program: research, curriculum, development, and outreach. Mutual learning through access to the chairs network, academic advisory board, and the WTO secretariat is one of the key strengths of the program, and I'm convinced that the chair at FTU will take full advantage of these opportunities while making contributions to each of the pillars. The research pillar is of particular relevance with FTU's proposal to support Vietnamese stakeholders in the implementation of regional multilateral trade commitments of Vietnam. Such assistance is important as understanding and successful implementation of international agreements would allow Vietnamese traders and businesses to better integrate in international trade. We believe that the ambitious research proposal submitted by the chair of Vietnam on bridging the gap between stakeholders and international agreements would be of much benefit to Vietnam's governmental entities, businesses, other stakeholders in the field of trade. From the WTO Secretariat's perspective, we are always available to provide support to the chair to accomplish its current research agenda and to move forward in anticipation of future developments, fostering close partnerships with the government, the stakeholders with which MOUs will be signed today, the permanent missions of Vietnam and other ASEAN countries in Geneva. Of course, to implement such complex matter, and additional training is required, and we are pleased to see that the chair's proposal develops a range of courses for stakeholders dealing, among others, with inclusive growth and digital trade, and makes this accessible to those interested in enhancing their knowledge and specialization in these areas. With the growing complexity of the global trading system, its dynamics with ever-growing number of trade linkages, partnerships, and production chains, it is crucial for any country actively involved in trade to have experts who are up to speed on the existing and new trade issues, and more importantly, to train new generations of trade experts and negotiators. FTO is well placed to do an excellent job in the future with regular revisions and updates to existing courses and developing partnerships through collaborations with universities abroad, like in Australia, and to provide students with access to a broader pool of knowledge. Another critical aspect of the CHAIRS program is dissemination of research and capacity building. I firmly believe that today's event marking Vietnam's onboarding to the CHAIRS program will become a solid foundation for future cooperation with partners within the CHAIRS network and beyond it. With the program's focus on building bridges between regional universities, national policymakers, trade officials in Geneva, academics, and other international institutions, it provides a variety of opportunities for cooperation, which I hope will be fully utilized by FTU and prospective partners. The WCP is a great way to open horizons, build the capacities necessary for long-term sustainability of the CHAIRS network, and to broaden its members' network. Another key component of the new CHAIRS role is to promote not only Vietnam's, but also other ASEAN countries in the integration in the global economy, and to foster engagement between ASEAN governments and other partners in the region. And I would like to mention that we have the chairs present from China, from Singapore, and we also have some others in the region. On a final note, the CHAIRS program has witnessed many successes over the past 12 years since its inception. This wouldn't be possible without the help of our donors, and we have present today our lead donor from France and also our donors from Australia. We couldn't work and expand the program without their help. And the very positive independent evaluations by external experts and feedback from beneficiary members and donors in the past have shown the program's prowess in creating long-lasting, sustainable, and successful partnerships. I firmly believe that our new chair in Vietnam will be well integrated into these partnerships, and I look forward to welcoming you in person during the upcoming WCP annual conference to be held at the WTO premises in July. And as DDG Gonzalez was saying, regional integration, in particular on sustainable development, contemplated in various agreements, are an important precursor and indicator of what can be achieved at the global level to increase cooperation and the fulfillment of development objectives more broadly. With this in mind, I'm glad to re-emphasize the project's focus in this year of the 3 pillars at reducing the gap between conclusion and implementation of FTA commitments, since this articulates a very real way in which trade impacts every section of society through meaningful changes and opportunities which assist businesses of all shapes and sizes, leaving no one behind, and being a stepping stone for multilateral cooperation and developing the agenda and the results and the fruits of the WTO further. Thank you very much for offering me the opportunity to speak at this important occasion, and I would like to thank all ministers, ambassadors, professors, and representatives of the business community participating today for their presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your speech, Mr. Werner. And we hope to continue having your support in the next 4 years. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to be selected as WTO chair, we have technical support from Permanent Representative Vietnam Mission to the UN and the WTO at Geneva. Now it is my honor to invite Her Excellency Lê Thị Tuyết Mai to declare the inaugural remark. She will be online from Geneva. So please welcome Ambassador Lê Thị Tuyết Mai.
Chị đấy. Ok.
Vâng. Em chào chị Mai ạ. Chị có thể nói được ạ?
Are you audible? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
So may I start now?
Yes, please.
Yes, sure.
Warmest greetings from Geneva, Madam Deputy Director General of the WTO, Annabelle Gonzalez, Honorable Deputy Ministers, President of the Foreign Trade University, distinguished guests and colleagues in Geneva and Vietnam and other countries. It's my honor and pleasure to address this important event on behalf of the mission of Vietnam to the UN, WTO, and other international organizations in Vietnam. Allow me to extend our warmest greetings and sincere appreciation to Ms. Annabelle Gonzalez, WTO Deputy Director General, Honorable Deputy Ministers of Vietnam from the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Justice, Mr. Director of the WTO Chairs Program, the WTO Secretariat, leaders of the Foreign Trade University, colleagues in missions in Vietnam and Hanoi. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vietnam Permanent Mission in Geneva is very pleased to acknowledge that the Foreign Trade University, FTU, of Vietnam has been admitted for the WTO Chairs Program in the phase 2022-2026. As mentioned earlier by WTO DDG Gonzalez in her speech addressing our event today, the selection process has been very competitive among 126 excellent applications from institutions from 54 WTO members. Having successfully gone through the strict process and evaluation from the WTO Secretariat, we believe that FTU, with their distinct experience and proactiveness, will make the most of this opportunity to enhance curriculum development for higher education, research outcome, and outreach activities. We believe that outcomes of these activities are valuable resources of reference for academics, policymakers, and research institutions of Vietnam in promoting international trade under the framework of the multilateral trading system. The strong commitments and determination by Vietnam to multilateralism and implementation of comprehensive and progressive free trade agreements for sustainable development require enormous efforts of the government and other stakeholders. We believe that the Chair's activities will strengthen the capabilities of academics, policymakers, and learners to assist efficient implementation of free trade commitments by Vietnam for the benefit of our people, and at the same time contribute to promoting the multilateral trading system with the WTO at the core. In this regard, my team and I at the Permanent Mission of Vietnam in Geneva are delighted to join hands in supporting FTU in providing advice on WTO-related issues and research practice for the implementation of the WTO Chair Program's objectives. Again, we would like to express our appreciation to the WTO Secretariat as presented by the Deputy Director General, Ms. Annabelle Gonzalez today, and donors in providing FTU Vietnam with valuable opportunity to commit our strong support to strengthening the multilateral trading system for sustainable development for the benefit of all people. I thank you so much for having me at this event, and I wish FTU success in accomplishing this important mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ambassador Lê Thị Tuyết Mai. Now, from other permanent representative delegation to the WTO, the French ambassador is presented by Ms. Hotesse Nestler. I would like to invite Ms. Hotesse Nestler to declare the inaugural remarks from Geneva. So please welcome.
Hello, dear colleagues. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Distinguished ministers, dear Deputy Director General Gonzalez, dear Directors Duke, dear distinguished colleagues and professors, thank you so much for your invitation, and I hope that I'm also audible in the room. I apologize on behalf of my ambassador, Etienne Houdon-Dainville, who unfortunately could not make it today and sent me to represent him. First of all, let me congratulate Professor Trinity Tu for having been selected as a WTO chairholder. As the representative of the lead donor country of this program, I have been asked to say a few words on why we think this technical assistance program is so important. France is and has always been a country of debate because we believe that fruitful exchanges are the first milestone to trigger positive change. By supporting the Chair's program, we encourage the exchange of enlightened arguments generated by research. It is such an exchange that can allow convergence towards common interest, or what the French economist Frédéric Bastiat called a harmony of interests amongst countries, and is the condition sine qua non to empower the multilateral trading system to reach compromises sought out by all for the benefit of all. We hope that the work of the chairs, experts in their field, will encourage the greatest number of people, businesses, and political decision makers to think outside the box and facilitate within the WTO the endorsement by members of innovative positions that will lead us to concrete results. Now, more than ever, academic research is necessary to help us collectively understand the ramifications of new topics, which gather a lot of interest from members within the WTO, such as e-commerce, environmental sustainability, gender issues, and MSMEs. expert advice on how to shape these conversations within the trade community will help us achieve more ambitious and informed results. I thank you for your time. I'll stop here because I don't want to be too long, and I wish you a great end of the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hortense-Lessler, for your speech. And from Permanent Mission of Australia to the WTO, it is my honor to invite Mr. Mason Interlandi, Second Secretary, Permanent Mission of Australia to the WTO, to declare his inaugural speech. So please welcome him.
Yes, we can hear you.
Terrific. I'd like to start by saying that Australia is a proud supporter of the WTO Chairs Program, and I'm delighted and honoured to be speaking here today at this very important ceremony. The WTO Chairs Program has continued to grow and indeed thrive over the past 10 years, and I'd like to acknowledge all chairs that are joining us today. I'd also like to thank and send my warmest regards to distinguished Deputy Ministers, Deputy Director Gonzalez, Excellencies and Speakers, and pass on the apology of Ambassador Mina, who unfortunately is unable to join us here this morning. From the outset, I'd like to congratulate the Foreign Trade University on behalf of the Australian mission on its selection to participate in the WTO Chairs Program for its third phase. I'd also like to extend these congratulations to the President of the Foreign Trade University, Associate Professor Tu. I'd also like to thank the WTO Chairs Program for the invitation to speak briefly here today. For Australia, the WTO Chairs Program has a unique value proposition. First, it promises a lasting systemic impact, helping to embed trade policy knowledge and understanding across academia, and then facilitating the transfer and dissemination of this knowledge so that it can inform policy officials and decision makers. Second, it promotes connectedness, whether it's helping to bridge gaps in complex policy questions, promoting an exchange of perspectives between academia and government, or between chairs. The program ensures that information and policy analysis can flow widely between WTO members, their institutions, and their people. And third, it fosters original, thoughtful policy analysis and research. At a time when the multilateral trading system matters so greatly, the trade policy thinking that chairs bring to the debate can help us find new ways to reinvigorate and strengthen the multilateral system, as well as national and global trade policy making. It is for these reasons that we are excited to support the Foreign Trade University's role as a WTO chair and look forward to the research and collaboration that is produced. Indeed, one of the standout features of the Foreign Trade University's application to the Chairs Program was its large and interdisciplinary team with strong institutional relationships and an ambitious plan, which is something that speaks to each of the value adds I just described. For the Australian government, we are committed to the success of the multilateral trading system and are a keen proponent of openness and trade as a means to achieve national prosperity and improve lives and livelihoods. And this is why we are committed to working with the WTO and other WTO members to support initiatives like the Chairs Program, which is designed to build capacity and policy expertise. Policy expertise isn't just housed within government. Indeed, it is in academia where often we find original, innovative ideas that prove to be truly transformative. And of course, public engagement is also key. Extolling the virtues of trade in an evidence-based manner can help build a broad base of support for trade and more broadly, the multilateral trading system. And this is another reason why we are proud supporters of the Chairs Program. It promotes not only research and policy analysis, but the dissemination and sharing of these ideas. Before I close, let me say also that Vietnam is one of Australia's closest neighbours and partners, both at the official and people-to-people level. In 2018, we became close strategic partners, and in 2019, our government signed an agreement to develop an enhanced economic engagement strategy. The strategy itself highlights the opportunities for deeper research collaboration and university cooperation. So for Australia, our work to support the Chairs Program and Vietnam's role in it is a natural extension of an already deep bilateral partnership and cooperation. I'd like to conclude again by congratulating Foreign Trade University on its participation in the WTO Chairs Program, and we look forward to following and supporting your work as undoubtedly another esteemed chair. Thank you.
Present at our ceremony today, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch, member of the Advisory Board, WTO Chair Program, Director of Study, World Trade Institute, to give the inaugural remark. So please welcome him.
Excellencies, colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to speak to you in my capacity of member of the Academic Advisory Board of the WTO Chairs Program. The Advisory Board is an external interdisciplinary body composed of 14 senior academics and trade officials whose role is to ensure the academic quality of the output generated by shareholders. Much has already been said by previous speakers of what is expected from WTO chairs holders and what is now expected from the new Foreign Trade University WTO chairholder. Let me first of all emphasize that the members of the advisory board, while they will assess the academic quality of your output, each member of the advisory board is there in the first place to assist you in achieving your goals. We are very well aware of the challenges that you face as developing country academics. While the Foreign Trade University has already an excellent offer of trade policy and law related courses, I trust that this offer will be further strengthened in the years to come. As far as research is concerned, I'm confident that you will be able to make a very valuable contribution to the trade policy debate in Vietnam by conducting research on these issues that are high on your government's agenda. However, I would encourage you to cover also other issues which may not yet, but probably will be of importance to Vietnam and a multilateral trading system more broadly. They will be of importance in the medium term. Academics should look beyond the horizon of today's political and policy concerns. They should, as one of the previous speakers also indicated, they should think out of the box. The WTO Chairs community now comprises 36 developing country universities and research institutes. I'm certain that the Foreign Trade University will make optimal use of this unique network, make optimal use of this network to exchange expertise and experiences. Developing countries can learn a lot from each other's successes and failures. Let me conclude by congratulating on behalf of the Academic Advisory Board, the Foreign Trade University shareholder with her appointment and express my confidence in a successful cooperation in the years to come.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch. Last but not least, I would like to welcome and invite Professor Michael Yuan Chao, WTO Chairholder, National University of Singapore, to give his speech. He will be online from Singapore, so please welcome him.
Thank you, Vietnam and FTU for inviting me, and congratulations for FTU to be a WTO chair. I am the privilege to be part of the first batch of the WTO chairs, and I had the pleasure of teaching in FTU for a few years under the WTI Master's Program in Hanoi some years ago, and Peter was, of course, part of that program many, many years ago. My great memories are of great students, wonderful staff at FTU, and of course, the fantastic food of Vietnam, as well as, of course, the terrible traffic. I fully believe that Vietnam and FTU will be invaluable contributors to world trade, the WTO and the WTO's chairs programs in the years ahead. And this will be much needed. The world today does not look good. We have the pandemic, a war in Ukraine, and a food crisis. Yet there is a pushback against trade liberalization in favor of unilateral self-sufficiency. And yet, at the same time, despite this pushback to be self-sufficient, we continue to explore problems in global value chains, shortages in computer chips, fuel and food, as well as, of course, vaccines and therapeutics to combat this pandemic. And all of this has been very easy because we also face a shortage of truth, so that policymakers find it easy to slide backwards towards self-sufficiency. But it does not cause any help and does not work to solve our collective action problems. History has proven time and time again that a more liberal market, properly managed and with the necessary resilience and regulations built in, results in more goods and more productivity. Indeed, a good example of this has been Vietnam's contribution to rice trade. And during my time as WTO chair, I was very glad to be a participant in helping to improve the rice trade. We remember back in 2008, the price of rice jumped from $250 per metric ton to over $1,000 per metric ton in just 1 month. While bad weather affected the rice harvest, the reactions of rice-producing countries made a difficult situation worse. India imposed export restrictions. China and Thailand were reported to be considering doing so. And because rice was then a thinly traded commodity, the potential export restrictions led to a scramble by individual countries to secure for themselves what is a major staple food for our Asian region. Soon after, the UN reporter on the right to food, Olivier de Schutter, argued that WTO trade disciplines overly restricted WTO members and prevented them from ensuring food security. Then, Pascal Lamy responded that this was not the case, as there were enough flexibilities in WTO disciplines to provide policy space, and indeed trade was a solution to limited food supply. I believe DG Lamy was right. We face a collective action problem played out not just within our arbitrary geographical boundaries or borders, as we see even with the war in Ukraine, but on a planetary scale across the entire global commons. We face the pandemic, we face climate change, and we face threats. So in 2001, partially as the WTO chair, I was asked to resolve some issues for the negotiators of the ASEAN +3, China, Japan, and Korea, who were trying to create a rice reserve. They were unfortunately having an impasse, and the Asian Development Bank asked me to act as legal counsel for them to resolve the deadlock. Now, some ASEAN members wanted the rice reserve to only include rice from within ASEAN because they argued that it was a production problem. Some other members, not within ASEAN, but who were part of this ASEAN +3, argued that we should be rice from outside ASEAN because they said it was a supply problem. I argued it should be policy neutral, origin neutral, because if rice was needed, it needed to obey WTO non-discrimination principles, and there was no value to thinking about it only as a production problem or supply problem when it was a collective action problem. I was glad they accepted my opinion. Another problem was the price of rice. There was a concern that you could create subsidies, but there were also concerns that rice spikes was a problem that we needed to face. We finally agreed on creating a system whereby it would be market-based, but you would prevent and smooth out the spikes by ensuring that indeed you had onward monthly contracts to average out the price rather than single contracts, and this worked. Finally, there was the creation of monitoring and information sharing system to determine if matches or shortfalls could be made within the APTIA system. In fact, recently it's been activated, and Vietnam has been a major player in this. So this required members within ASEAN Plus 3 to work together to meet the demand from their populations. The rice crisis was triggered by export restrictions or the threat thereof, and it was for us to act together to resolve it. Now, no country can do it alone, and we need to act together. Within ASEAN Plus 3, we undertook to ensure a basic level of trade, use market prices, and to share information on rice production. One of my WTO chair's output was indeed a conference and book called Trade in Rice from Self-Sufficiency to Collective Security in Asia. The good news is that Bloomberg recently reported that while the price of all basic foods have gone up almost double during this pandemic, and because of the war in Ukraine, rice actually has fallen in price. This is because Vietnam has increased production and is actively trading what was previously only thinly traded. Following from the 2008 food crisis, Vietnam has become one of the largest rice traders today. Bloomberg actually said that without the stability of the price of rice, largely because of Vietnam's contribution to the market, the food crisis today will be very much worse. The lesson from this is that studies have shown that even with climate change, there will always be enough if we share, because different areas will open up. It is like the COVID vaccine problem, not so much a production problem, but a sharing a resource problem. The WTO system has been very good at increasing production because of the efficiency created by the trading system. A similar reduction of barriers of food, the COVID vaccine, and therapeutics and green goods will also be part of the solutions for these crises in the years ahead. The problem is not a production problem, but a distribution problem, a problem of imagination. I believe that the WTO needs to build on the current system of transparency and rationally discuss to create an environmental trust and cooperation so as to address this. We need to move from a system of efficiency maximization to one that is designed to encourage equitable distribution based on enlightened self-interest so that this crisis are not solvable by self-sufficiency, but only by collective security. I'm therefore very much encouraged that Vietnam and FTA will be major contributors to maintaining and improving the global trading systems in the challenging years ahead. For my part, I remain very happy to help out where I can and to one day enjoy a pho bowl at Pho Bat Dan sooner rather than later. As a Liverpool fan, let me say, in congratulations again to FDU, may you never walk alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your speech. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee of the WCP ceremony, I sincerely thank you for our honored delegate presence and precious remarks. I wish you good health and great success, and we hope to receive your great support during the implementation of different activities in the Foreign Trade University WTO Chair Program in the next 4 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Trịnh Thị Thu Hương, and all of the speakers who have delivered very meaningful remarks. And now, the organizing committee are very pleased and honored to have your presence in the launch ceremony today. So we would like to invite all of our distinguished guests to come on the stage for a group photo. Could you please move to the stage for a group photo? For online participants, could you please turn on your camera? May I kindly ask our online participants to turn on the camera on Zoom? And may I ask the technical team? May I ask the technical team to help the participants?
For our photo session, please turn on your camera so we can
May I also
share
ask the technical
moment
team to
on
change the
both
background to the
offline
images in Zoom?
Foreign Trade University and online.
Thank you very much, all the distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please kindly return to your seat so that we can proceed with the ceremony today? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we'll be moving to part 2 of the launch ceremony today on MOU signing between FTU and different stakeholders. In order to facilitate implementation of the FTU-WTO chair at Foreign Trade University, FTU is developing close collaboration with lots of different partners under 3
Thank
pillars.
you so much.
The first one is research, the second is curriculum development and teaching, and the last one is outreach activities and events. The main content of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, will focusing on these 3 pillars. Specifically, under the curriculum development and teaching, the partner is committed to cooperate with Foreign Trade University in the design and teaching of new courses, new short courses for policymakers and enterprises, and new academic courses for students. Under research pillar, the partner is willing to support relevant research projects under the FTU-WTO chair program. And under the outreach activities pillars, the partner is committed to promote and supporting events organized by Foreign Trade University, for instance, the Vietnam International Trade Forum, or sending experts writing articles for seminars and conferences. And now, during the launch ceremony today, we have the honor to be able to sign the Memorandum of Understanding between FTU and 4 of our partners. Ladies and gentlemen, the first MOU signing will be between Foreign Trade University and the Center for WTO and International Trade, Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry. May I now invite the representative of Foreign Trade University and the WTO the Center for WTO and International Trade of VCCI to come on the stage for the MOU signing. From the Center for WTO and International Trade VCCI, allow me to introduce Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang, Director of the Center for WTO and International Trade VCCI. Representing Foreign Trade University, allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, Head of FTU WTO Chair Steering Committee and Vice President of Foreign Trade University. The representative from Foreign Trade University, allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Anh Tuấn, President of Foreign Trade University. Please be welcome to the stage. Allow me to introduce and invite on the stage Deputy Minister Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc, Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Justice, to come on the stage as the witnesses for this MOU signing. Allow me to introduce and invite on the stage Associate Professor Phạm Văn Linh to come on the stage and to be the witnesses for this MOU signing between Foreign Trade University and the Center for WTO and International Trade VCCI. Allow me to invite the signer on behalf of Center for WTO and International Trade VCCI, Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang, to be seated. And allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, the signer on behalf of Foreign Trade University, to be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please join me and invite the signers on behalf of the two partners to sign the MOU? Could you please, Associate Professor Phạm Thu Hương and Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang, could you please sign on the MOU? Could you please exchange the signed MOU? Associate Professor Phạm Thu Hương and Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang, could you please sign on the respective part of the MOU? Could both of you please hold the signed agreement so that the audience can see? Thank you so much, and this marks the collaboration between the Center for International Trade and WTO at VCCI and Foreign Trade University. Congratulations, and thank you very much, Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang. Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương and the representative from FTU, could you please ask you to remain on the stage for the next MOU signing? And Dr. Nguyễn Thị Thu Trang, please kindly return to your seat. The second MOU signing today will be between FTU and our next partner, the Vietnam Association for Seafood Exporter and Producer, VASEP. Allow me to introduce the representative from VASEP, Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam, Deputy Secretary General of Vietnam Association for Seafood Exporter and Producer. Allow me to introduce the representative from VASEP to witness the MOU signing today. Allow me to introduce Ms. Lê Hằng, Director of VASEP, Hanoi. May I kindly ask the signers for both parties to be seated? Could you please join me and invite the representative from VASEP and FTU to sign the MOU? The signer, could you please sign on the MOU? Thank you very much. Could you please exchange the signed MOU and sign on the respective part? Could I kindly ask the signer to hold the signed agreement so that the audience can see that? Congratulations, this marks the collaboration between FTU and Vietnam Association for Seafood Exporter and Producer. Thank you very much, Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam, and thank you very much, Ms. Lê Hằng. Representative from Foreign Trade University, may I kindly ask you to remain on the stage for the next MOU signing. And Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam and Ms. Lê Hằng, could you please kindly return to your seat? Thank you. And now we'll be signing the third MOU between FTU and our next partner, the World Trade Institute, University of Bern, Switzerland. And this MOU signing will be done via Zoom platform. From the World Trade Institute, University of Bern, Switzerland, allow me to introduce the signer on behalf of WTI, Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch, Director of Studies, WTI. Allow me to invite Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, the signer on behalf of FTU, to be seated. Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch. There might be some bit technical problems, and we're still waiting for Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch to come back on the screen. Can I ask the technical team to help us? Yes, hello.
Hello.
Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch, can you hear me? Okay. Yes.
Yes, I can.
May I
can
kindly
hear you
ask
very well. Let me
Yes.
perhaps say that and it's a pleasure for me to appear for a second time today in Hanoi. Now I'm here in my capacity of Director of Studies of the World Trade Institute in Bern, and it's a real pleasure to sign today a memorandum of understanding on academic cooperation with the Foreign Trade University. We look forward to strengthen our association with the Foreign Trade University. The WTI and the Foreign Trade University have already worked closely together in the past under the Swiss government-sponsored program. And also, I personally, and before I joined the WTI, taught at the Foreign Trade University and have worked on your curriculum. I think back of these experiences with great fondness, and I cannot recall anything but positive things. Therefore, the WTI is very happy to sign today the MOU with the Foreign Trade University.
Thank you very much for the kind words. And now, allow me to invite the signer on behalf of World Trade Institute and the signer on behalf of FTU to please sign on the MOU. Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch, Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, could you please hold the signed agreement up and show it to the audience? Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch, could you please show the signed agreement to the audience? Thank you very much. And this marks a collaboration between World Trade Institute and FTU. And we're going to sign the next MOU between the University of Wollongong and Foreign Trade University. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Peter van den Bosch. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth MOU signing today will be done between FTU and Wollongong University, Australia. Allow me to introduce the signer on behalf of Wollongong University, Professor Colin Picker, Dean, Faculty of Law, Wollongong University.
Thank you very much. So we're absolutely thrilled to be taking part in this project. We're looking forward to continuing the long-standing relationship between Australian academics and Vietnamese academics, and getting to know your students again. So this is a great opportunity. Thank you for asking us to join.
Thank you very much. And allow me to introduce the witnesses from Wollongong University, Associate Professor Marcus Wagner and Dr. Thanh Lê. On behalf of Foreign Trade University, Associate Professor Phạm Thu Hương is a signer. And on behalf of Wollongong University, Dr. Colin Picker will be the signer. Could I please ask the signer of both parties to sign on the MOU? And could I please ask both signers of both parties to hold the signed MOU and show it to the audience? Professor Colin Picker, could you please show the signed agreement to the audience, please? Could you hold it up and show it to the audience?
I don't have it on me.
Thank you very much. And this marks the collaboration between University of Wollongong and Foreign Trade University. And thank you very much again, Professor Colin Picker and the witnesses from Wollongong University. And many thanks to representative from Foreign Trade University, Associate Professor Phạm Thu Hương, Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Anh Tuấn, Deputy Minister Nguyễn Khánh Ngọc, and Professor Nguyễn Văn Linh. Thank you very much. And could I please ask you to return to your seat? Ladies and gentlemen, FTU is developing close collaboration with different partners in order to facilitate the implementation of the FTU WTO Chair Program, which will be running from 2022 to 2026 under the three pillars: research, curriculum development and teaching, and outreach events and activities. And the first four MOUs that you have witnessed to be signing today was just the beginning, and we have lots of other partners that will be signing with us in the months and the years to come. And thank you so much for that. And in order to further facilitate the discussion and strengthen the collaboration among different stakeholders, including academia, industry, and the government, we are organizing the last part of our launch event today to focus on the roundtable discussion to strengthen such collaboration. And this roundtable discussion will be moderated by Associate Professor Dr. Vũ Thị Hiền, Head of Undergrad Study at Foreign Trade University. Could you please join me to invite and welcome on the stage Associate Professor Vũ Thị Hiền, the moderator for the roundtable discussion. Thank you, and please be welcome on the stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my really honor to moderate the roundtable discussion today. Firstly, let me introduce and invite the speakers who will be joining us in the roundtable. Please welcome Professor Lei Zhang, Shanghai University of International Business and Economics, WTO shareholders in China, who will join us online via Zoom platform. And please welcome Associate Professor Marcus Wagner, University of Wollongong, Executive Vice President, Society of International Economic Law, who also join us online. And please welcome on this stage Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam, Deputy Secretary General, Associations of Seafood Exporter and Producer of Vietnam. Please join us, Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam, and also to Professor join us via online. Thank you, the speaker, for being us today. We very honored to have a very prestigious partner join us in the WTO Chair Program. My first question will be given to Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam from VASEP, Vietnam Associations of Seafood Exporters and Producers. VASEP is a non-governmental organization established in 1998. It's one of very strong, powerful association in Vietnam. Most of VASEP members are prestigious seafood producers and exporters, representing 80% of the total seafood export of Vietnam. And Mr. Nguyễn Hoài Nam, how and to what extent do you think FTU WTO Chair Program activities can narrow the gap between the implementation of commitments by Vietnam in trade agreement from policy perspectives and the roles of interest of business actors created thereby? You can answer in English or in Vietnamese, it depends on up to you.
Yes. May I speak in Vietnamese? Xin được đầu tiên phải cảm ơn rất nhiều trường đại học Ngoại thương. Khi được nghe và được mời dự chương trình thì cái cảm giác đầu tiên của chúng tôi là thực sự là cảm phục và có một cái sự mong đợi. Bởi vì chúng ta đã hội nhập WTO một thời gian rồi. Tuy nhiên là với phía trước rất nhiều những cái cần phải có cái sự nâng cấp về mặt chất lượng và sản lượng đối với lại hàng hóa của Việt Nam. Thì tôi tin rằng cái chương trình WTO Chair mà trong cái năm đặc biệt này mà trường đại học Ngoại thương được là một trong 17 trường ở trên thế giới được lựa chọn lần này, thì đó là một cái may mắn đối với Việt Nam và xin được chúc mừng trường. Và tôi tin là chương trình cũng như Đại học Ngoại thương sẽ giúp ích rất nhiều cho Việt Nam, cho cộng đồng doanh nghiệp, trong đó có cộng đồng doanh nghiệp thủy sản của chúng tôi.
Vậy thì ông nhìn nhận như thế nào về việc một cái chương trình WTO Chair của Ngoại thương có thể làm thu hẹp cái việc trong quá trình thực thi các cam kết của WTO thì có những khoảng cách giữa những cái tiếp cận trong chính sách của chính phủ với lại cái quan điểm, cái vai trò và sự đóng góp của các khu vực không phải là của non-government. Ví dụ như là từ góc độ doanh nghiệp hay là từ góc độ của khối các nhà nghiên cứu.
Cái này chính là cái mong đợi của chúng tôi. Đứng ở góc độ là đại diện cho một cộng đồng doanh nghiệp. Ở khía cạnh ở đây là lĩnh vực tư nhân. Chúng tôi khi thấy được rằng những cái mà cam kết ở trong WTO hay cũng như các FTA hiện nay với lại những cái vấn đề của chính sách mà chúng tôi thường gọi đó là cái chương trình về nội luật hóa. Chúng tôi mong cái chương trình nội luật hóa đấy nhanh hơn và tiệm cận gần hơn nữa những cái mà WTO hoặc là những cái cam kết mà chúng ta đặt ra. Bởi vì hầu hết trong đó, ngoài những cái mà có thể gây trở ngại một số, thì đa phần là nó sẽ tạo ra được một cái thị trường, một cái sân chơi, kể cả về vấn đề chính sách, nó tốt hơn cho sự hội nhập của Việt Nam và nó tạo thêm được cái năng lực cạnh tranh cho cộng đồng doanh nghiệp. Cho nên rằng cái mà gọi là cái ghép, cái khoảng cách chính là cái mà chúng tôi rất mong có thêm được nhiều các cơ quan và những cái gọi là các cơ sở, và đặc biệt lần này là FTU, Đại học Ngoại thương đã đóng vai trò ở trong cái chương trình FTO WTO Chair, thì chúng tôi mong rằng sẽ rút ngắn được cái khoảng cách đó nhiều hơn nữa để hỗ trợ được cho cộng đồng doanh nghiệp, trong đó có thủy sản của chúng tôi.
Liệu ông có nói cụ thể hơn nữa ở cái góc độ là hiện nay các cái tiếp cận Chair của WTO tại Ngoại thương là một cái tiếp cận ba chân kiềng, tức là chính phủ này, doanh nghiệp và khối các nhà khoa học. Thế thì nhìn từ góc độ là một trong những cái gọi là hiệp hội có một cái năng lực khá lớn và một cái uy tín ảnh hưởng rất lớn trong cộng đồng các nhà sản xuất và xuất khẩu thủy sản ở Việt Nam, thì ông có mong đợi gì cái chair này sẽ đem lại cho hiệp hội của mình không?
Cái đó cũng là cái mà chúng tôi mong muốn. Chúng tôi mong muốn ở đây thứ nhất là vai trò của FTU trong cái chương trình của WTO Chair sẽ đưa được những cái tiếng nói của cộng đồng doanh nghiệp đến với lại chính phủ nhiều hơn nữa, để quá trình nội luật hóa mà chúng tôi đang đề cập nó được rút ngắn hơn, rồi hiệu quả hơn, và nó giúp ích được cho đất nước, cho cộng đồng doanh nghiệp. Và cái thứ hai cũng là mong đợi cái thế chân kiềng mà trong đó có các nhà khoa học sẽ giúp cho chúng ta có một cái phát triển, cái tiếp cận nó bền vững hơn. Ở góc độ là chúng ta hội nhập trong cái bối cảnh mà có rất nhiều cam kết, thì cái bền vững là cái mà chúng tôi cũng rất là quan tâm. Nên cái tiếp cận mà chân kiềng mà với 3 cái nhóm đối tác là doanh nghiệp, chính phủ và nhà khoa học, nó đảm bảo hoặc là nó có một cái tiếp cận để cho chúng ta cái sự phát triển bền vững đó.
Cảm ơn ông Nguyễn Hoài Nam vì những chia sẻ của mình. Today we have representatives from University of Wollongong, the main partners of our university in this project. And I have a question for Professor Marcus Wagner. Do you have any suggestions to foster collaboration among key stakeholders? It means government agency, business community, and academia in implementation of international trade commitment.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be with you today. Look, I think academics play a vital role in fostering relations internationally. As we have just seen, you have had a number of academics involved. I also think that certainly legal academics and academics in the area of economics do play a vital linchpin role between various stakeholders, right? So I think of governmental agencies, I think of businesses, as the representative from the fisheries industries is on the panel with you. And I think a close collaboration at the outset is really valuable, right? We've heard questions that are very technical at times, but also thinking outside the box. And I do think that academics have a valuable contribution that they can make in this particular instance.
Thank you, Professor Marcus Wagner. May I ask, why did your institution decide to collaborate with FTU within the framework of WTO Chair Program?
Well, look, number one, I have been involved with other applications for the WTO Chair Program, and it's one of the best programs that a university can strive for in the area of international trade, right? And so our institution, the University of Wollongong, has long-standing ties with Vietnamese universities. You've heard from the Australian representative before that Australia has long-standing ties and wants to deepen its ties with Vietnam. And for us, this then was a natural step to take. We wanted to collaborate with the best institution poised for international trade relations. We believe that we are one of the best institutions in Australia. We have a large number of academics working in international trade law, international economic governance overall. And so I think this will be fruitful collaboration for both sides.
Thank you, Professor. I hope that FTU and Wollongong University will have a fruitful cooperation, and together we will foster the participation of private sector in implementation of commitment under the WTO and also new generation FTA. And the next question will be given to the Professor Lei Zhang. Professor Lei Zhang is director of Shanghai Center for Global Trade and Economic Governance. He is one of the WTO chairholder, the Dean of the School of WTO Research and Education of Shanghai University of International Business and Economics, and also directors of WTO Trade Policy Review Center. And Professor, please can you share with us your own experience as the chairholder of the WTO Chair Program at SUIBE?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. First, I'd like to congratulate the FTU on launching the CHAIRS program. On behalf of the Shanghai University of International Business and Economics, we call it SVBA, we warmly welcome the four FTU to join the WC family in the third phases. We are very much aware that the FTU in Vietnam enjoys a higher reputation in wide range of academic areas, including the teaching and the research of economics, business laws, and foreign languages. I believe that the new chair of foreign FTU will for sure broaden the landscape of research topic under the WCHAIRS program. According to my personal experience, we, as an existing chair institution, we have a strong and a long tradition in research topics and methods in WTO-related areas. I hereby sincerely look forward to exploring the communications with the FTU and the CHAIRS program by sharing curriculum development, carrying out joint research, and exchanging human resources in the future. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the WCHAIRS program team. As you know, we have a wonderful management team in Geneva and a wonderful advisory board. We have seen Peter Wonderful here for bringing us together to achieve this common target of building the multilateral system more stronger. In this view, I'd like to cooperate with the FTU chair on the three pillars of the WTO program, which is curriculum development, research, and outreach, which are very beneficial to our teaching and research in my universities. For example, on curricular development, in my institute, in my school, we have two bachelor programs. We have two bachelor programs for your information, which are bachelor in law and bachelor in economics. And we have three master programs, master in WTO laws, which is the only one in China, supported by the WTO Secretariat. Without the support from the WTO Secretariat, I don't think we can still keep this program. And we have a master in international business and LM in foreign trade, legal and economics orientation. So this year we are also enrolling the PhD candidates in applied economics who would like to invite the FTU chair to develop the courses with emphasis on international organizations and trade negotiations, especially on WTO-focused issues. Okay, then last but not least, in my experience with the WTO China program, the world is witnessing the pandemic and the local conflicts. All this happening and changing circumstances call for a multilateral platform for dialogue. So we would have to fully benefit from the CHAIRS program. We are fully aware that the developing members like China are vulnerable to the political and economic uncertainty. Is that it is the reason why the WTO negotiations based on the multilateral trading system is vital for protecting developing members' welfare. We expect stronger voices for supporting multilateral trading system, and it's our duty to aware people of global efforts on integration, especially in a perspective of developing members. I take this opportunity to wish the launch of the FTU's chair as a new beginning of cross-chair cooperation and look forward to a new start. Congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing with us your experience. I think FTU will learn a lot from you. And another small question I would like to ask you, because your experience closely related to the research activities. So do you have any recommendation for FTU to successfully implement the WTO chair programs, especially the research activities? And also the question also from Mr. Nam that from the VASEP perspectives, if under the WTO chair programs research activities, what you expect from the research outcome? So two small questions for you, for two guest speaker. First for Mr. Professor Lee.
Okay, that's a good question. I think the best way to improve our research is to work closely with the WTO secretariat. I think the officials in the WTO, I mean the experts in the WTO secretariat, they have the necessary, the appropriate knowledge in WTO we need, especially because we are developing members. We know what we need from the secretariat to improve our technology. And the second is that we each year annually, I publish 2 journals. I think that is very important to show our presence under this chairs program. I think the 2 points for your reference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And ask the question for Mr. Nam. Những cái hoạt động của các trường thì nhiều khi bị xa rời với những cái kỳ vọng của khối doanh nghiệp. Vậy thì đối với VASEP thì ông kỳ vọng gì cái kết quả từ nghiên cứu có thể đóng góp cho những cái lợi ích của VASEP?
Cảm ơn tiến sĩ Hiền. Chúng tôi kỳ vọng ba cái ưu tiên. Kỳ vọng thứ nhất của chúng tôi đó là có được một cái nguồn nhân lực mà gọi là chất lượng cao. Mà rõ ràng trong thời gian qua thì thực sự là cá nhân tôi cũng như trong ngành hàng của chúng tôi mà hiện nay là các doanh nghiệp mà đang làm cái thương mại xuất nhập khẩu hàng ngày với hơn 160 quốc gia thì cái lực lượng nhân sự chất lượng cao đó đang chiếm một tỷ lệ đông chính là từ hệ thống ngoại thương của mình, Đại học Ngoại thương của mình ra. Và chúng tôi mong muốn rằng hệ thống các trường Đại học Ngoại thương của chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục có được cái vai trò dẫn đầu đấy. Nó rất là quan trọng. Cái kỳ vọng thứ hai đó là trong cái vai trò mới của Đại học Ngoại thương, chúng tôi mong muốn rằng những cái nội dung nằm ngoài thuế, thuộc các chương ngoài thuế ở trong khuôn khổ WTO sẽ được Ngoại thương sẽ cùng với lại các hiệp hội và cơ quan trong nước, cơ quan chính phủ trong nước đưa nó ra để có những cái đánh giá, những cái và để mà khiến cho cái năng lực cạnh tranh của các doanh nghiệp Việt Nam được cải thiện. Hoặc thậm chí trong đấy có những cái phải đấu tranh quốc tế khi mà những cái bất cập do phía nước bạn cùng là thành viên của WTO đưa ra mà không phù hợp WTO. Trong nhiều trường hợp chúng tôi đã phải đấu tranh quốc tế vì những cái mà chúng tôi lấy căn cứ của WTO ra bởi vì họ sẽ muốn cái đó để có thể làm ngăn cản hoặc làm giảm cái năng lực cạnh tranh của một cái nước thứ ba. Và cái mong đợi thứ ba ở góc độ là cộng đồng doanh nghiệp mà đang vừa sản xuất lại vừa xuất khẩu, chúng tôi mong đợi đó là một cái sự hợp tác nó nhiều hơn. Bản chất của những chuyện mà như tiến sĩ Hiền vừa đề cập là có khoảng cách ấy, thực ra tôi nghĩ rằng bản chất cái chính ở bên trong chính là cái sự hợp tác. Cho nên nhân chuyện này, cái hợp tác nó thể hiện bằng các cái hoạt động với nhau thôi. Thì trong thời gian qua với Đại học Ngoại thương và Hiệp hội VASEP thì tôi cũng rất là cảm ơn lãnh đạo trường và một số các anh chị giáo viên ở trong trường đã rất là chủ động trong cái hợp tác đấy. Và năm nay 2022 chúng tôi cũng chính thức là có cái tiếp nhận thực tập sinh là người trong nước. Các năm trước đây thì chúng tôi chỉ thực hiện cái chương trình thực tập sinh tại Hiệp hội từ Đại học Tokyo và Bộ Lao động Nhật Bản. Tuy nhiên từ năm nay thì chúng tôi bắt đầu và cũng xin được báo cáo với lãnh đạo trường với lại các anh chị là trong cái đợt vừa qua thì chúng tôi nhận được rất nhiều hồ sơ. Trong đó đến 80% các hồ sơ là đến từ Đại học Ngoại thương của chúng ta tại đây. Và hiện tại thì cũng đang có 4 bạn sinh viên. Mà nhìn vào hồ sơ và năng lực của trường thì thực sự là chúng tôi rất là cảm kích. Và chúng tôi biết đấy là những nguồn nhân lực chất lượng cao. các bạn đang có một cái thực tập để phù hợp với lịch học của mình ở tại văn phòng của chúng tôi. Thì cũng xin được cảm ơn và mong rằng 3 cái mong muốn đấy có thể là chưa phải là đầy đủ hết, nhưng đấy chính là những cái mong đợi gắn với lại trường, gắn với lại cái chương trình WTO Chair.
Thank you very much all speakers for sharing with us your experience, your opinions, as well as your recommendation on how to strengthen the connection between different stakeholders in implementation of Vietnam's commitment in the WTO as well as new generation FTAs. We all agree that building a network of research, consultation, and connection with industry actors and the public sectors, with FTU as the coordinating center, under which are 3 main pillars of activities: research, curriculum development and teaching, and outreach and event activities, would be an efficient way to solve the enormous gap between the implementation of state commitment from the policy perspectives and the roles of relevant stakeholders. With that, I would like to conclude the roundtable discussion today. Thank you all very much for your enthusiastic participation. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
For your all speakers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, moderator and speakers, for the very interesting and informative roundtable discussion. And with that, we are delighted to acknowledge that the roundtable discussion have taken place successfully with a very proactive atmosphere. And once again, we would like to thank the participation and contribution of our distinguished speakers. And following the program, allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Martin Smith, Senior Advisor to the WTO Chairs Program at FTU. Associate Professor Dr. Martin Smith has always been with us, has provided lots of meaningful advice to the FTU WTO Chair Program since our first sketch of ideas. And for now, Associate Professor Dr. Martin Smith.
Thank you very much for your very kind introduction, and congratulations to all of you and also to you as the host of this event. I'm very impressed by the high quality of interventions and the high level of interventions. And I think we should be very proud of having had the presence of such an eminent group of people, including vice ministers, director generals, ambassadors. So I want to congratulate you on that. With this very interesting and insightful launch, actually, now the WTO Chairs program in FTU is literally taking off. So it has now started. And I would like, having managed the Chairs program since its inception, I would like to make a few personal and a few official concluding remarks. First of all, like many others that we heard today, I have been fortunate enough to have visited and taught at FTU, and I'm very happy to have worked and acted with the students and with the university professors. And I have, like many of our colleagues we heard today, experienced the high quality, the high level of knowledge and their commitment, and the very high academic and rigorous standards applied by the FTU. So I'm particularly honored to also be serving as an advisor to the chair and to the team. We have witnessed today that the FTU has already worked significantly with many internationally recognized academic institutions all over the world, including in Asia, Australia, and Europe. And they have already established long-standing institutional arrangements with the universities, with think tanks, research networks, and is a member of different such networks, including UNESCAP's ArtNet. We saw the signing ceremony of with different new partners, or partners that are not really new because they have worked with them in the past, but have been officialized, if I can put it like that, with the World Trade Institute, with Australia. So, in fact, many of your staff members, including the chair, whom I again congratulate, Dr. Trintin too, for having been selected in your capacity as chairholder. And many of you, including the chairholder, have been trained and educated abroad, including in Europe, and including at the World Trade Institute, including in Belgium and many parts of the world, Australia. So that is a good sign of this international commitment that you are taking. So you have a very ambitious work program, including an outreach program. We're going to work and working already with leading academia and expanding the network in the region and further abroad. And we have heard today the keen interest by many stakeholders to continue working with you and to build new relations, including with China, with the UIBE, with the SUIBE, so in Beijing and in Shanghai. We also heard the commitment on the side of Singapore, of Australia, and many other partners that are looking forward to collaborate with you. And there are many other institutions and chairs in Indonesia, for example, and in Pakistan, in India, and many more in the region that I'm sure you will be working with. These interactions are going to be very beneficial, but in both directions, as all institutions have really distinguished them already through their width and depth of the research activities and their portfolio. And we heard we got some indications as to the areas that the FTU is invited to work on. So, and you have worked on many of these topics already. You have conducted numerous academic studies of high quality, conducted seminars and webinars. And we heard already from many of the speakers today that they have taught at the university and contributed to your events. So, and we also had a very good explanation just now about the linking of the research to policy making, which is the key to success. And that's why I want to congratulate the chair again with this launching event, bringing together a number of stakeholders from NGOs, from private sector, from organized business. And we heard just now the keen interest that those partners have in collaboration and what they expect actually to get out of this collaboration. So what we see is a very clear and direct link between the academic work, the research, the curriculum development, and the outreach that is taking place. That is how the academia, the thinkers, the professors, they can contribute to shaping the policies. And we got some indications based on the questions that you just asked before on the areas that you are invited to work on. You are a very significant and a rapidly growing economy. So you have a lead role to play in the area of trade. You have grown very rapidly. We got some figures earlier on in the presentations how rapidly your economy has expanded and your trade has been meaningful for developing growth for your citizens and for your economy as a whole. So you have actually a lead role to play in analyzing trade issues through your academic network, including through the cooperation that you have established with the other universities, and to share those research findings more broadly at a regional level. This, when the WTO Chairs program was evaluated 2 years ago, turned out to be the crux of the success of the Chairs program. So I'm confident that you will be doing a great job in those areas as you have been doing in the past. So I would like to conclude by thanking all the colleagues, the ambassadors, the friends, the academics, the professors, the panelists, for the very insightful comments and observations that they made, and particularly their willingness expressed to cooperate with the FTU now and in the future. So I would like to conclude by wishing the FTU and your leaders and the esteemed WCP team in your country. I wish you much success in implementing the work program, and I'm looking forward to making a contribution to that. And I am sure you will have a very productive, intense, and successful phase 3 of the CHAIRS program. So once again, congratulations to all of you, to the organizers of this event, and to this important panel of very high-level people that we have seen today in this excellent program. Once again, congratulations on what you have done, and I wish you all the very best in the future under this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Martin Smith, for your meaningful remarks. And we're looking forward to receiving very much of your meaningful remarks, your meaningful advices in the near future in the implementation of the FTU-WTO chair. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, with the successful conclusion of the 4 MOUs, the completion of a roundtable discussion, our FTU-WTO chair launch ceremony today has come to an end. And to conclude, please welcome on the stage Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, Head of FTU-WTO Chair Steering Committee and Vice President Foreign Trade University, to end the ceremony by giving closing remarks. Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, please be welcome on the stage.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for engaging in discussion. And after several intensive working hours, the FTU WTO Chair Program with the theme, Strengthening Cooperation Between Industry Actors, Academic Institutions, and the Governments in Implementing Vietnam Commitment in WTO and New Generation FTAs, has engaged enormous concerns from all stakeholders. And in this afternoon, we have listened to valuable sharing from speakers. And your interest has partly demonstrated the goal that Foreign Trade University WTO Chair Program is aiming for, which is to promote the collaboration among stakeholders, government and non-government bodies, public and private sectors, researcher, policymaker, and implementer in practice. International and domestic organizations participating in FTA negotiation and direct beneficiaries of negotiation results. Through our launch ceremony today, we have also witnessed practical collaboration activity. We have signed 4 MOU between Foreign Trade University and VCCI, VASCP, University of Wollongong, and World Trade Institute. And this year, more MOU will be signed between Foreign Trade University and the permanent representative of Socialist Republic of Vietnam to World Trade Organization, Association, international and domestic education institutions to participate in these projects. Ladies and gentlemen, also at the launch ceremony today, we, as different actors in the process of training, research, policy making, and implementation, have together discussed, listened, and shared the vision and cooperation possibility in the upcoming time to foster cooperation and engagement among stakeholders in the context of implementing Vietnam commitment in WTO and new generation FTAs. We share the common belief by the World Trade Organization's philosophy that free trade is the foundation of prosperity, and now we keep on believing that our cooperation and connection are necessary and important to bring both benefits and efficiency to all parties when implementing commitments in international trade, and therefore will promote greater prosperity, equity, and inclusion. We believe that each party in particular and Vietnam in general will take the advantage of international trade, contributing to the achievement of the sustainable and prosperous development goals. I would like to thank you for your deep concerns for FTU WTO Chair program in particular and the promising collaboration among us in the future in general. And the launch ceremony today is a great kick start for close cooperations among stakeholders of training, researching, making, and implementing international trade policy activities. And we look forward to continuing to receive your interest and participation in our upcoming trend of events under the framework of FTU WTO Chair programs. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I'd like to express our sincere thanks to all esteemed guests, experts, colleagues, representatives from WTO, embassies, organizations, businesses, associations for contributing to the success of the event. I would like to thank colleagues and collaborators at Foreign Trade University for their enthusiastic support in organizing this event. May I wish good health, safety, and great success to all of you. Cheers to the upcoming success of FTU WTO Chair programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Thu Hương, for very meaningful closing remarks. And with that, I would like to announce the closing of FTU WTO Chair launch ceremony today. On behalf of the organizing committee, once again, I would like to sincerely thank all of you, all of our distinguished guests who are joining us both offline at Foreign Trade University Hanoi campus and online via the Zoom platform. I wish you good health, great success, and looking forward to seeing many of you in our next event. For now, thank you and goodbye. I would like to invite all of our distinguished guests to go down to the hall at the first floor of this building for the reception. Thank you very much. Xin trân trọng kính mời các vị đại biểu, các vị khách quý cùng xuống tầng 1 để dự tiệc chiêu đãi ạ.